This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. We are the Nerd Corporation.
What up, everybody? It's podcast day. My name is Eddie Lyon, aka companion number 31003. With me, as always, Cole Simper.
Suck my deck.
Your Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a steamy deck?
Oh, we'll get into it.
Derek Reese.
You can call me Mr. Bigglesworth.
Nick Lewis.
I have a Stream Deck, not to be confused with the Steam Deck.
And Angela Wooden.
I was going to ask if it was released by Valve also, but it's by Elgato, which is a synonym for, well,
It's
not a synonym,
the
but it
cat.
means the cat, which is something that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's released by the Volve.
The Volva.
What the fuck is that?
Mulva?
Volva?
Who knows?
Dolores.
It's where they pee out of or something.
Still haven't found that hole yet.
Dolores!
It's a myth. Welcome to episode 166. The Neco Corp presents Game of the Year 2022. We're going to be talking about Stray, the latest cute as fuck game that's on PlayStation. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it was pretty fun. But first, let's get on with the nerd news. So we got a 16-minute gameplay video for Gotham Knights. In this gameplay video, we saw Barbara Gordon's Batgirl being displayed. What do you guys think?
Working legs, first of all.
Yeah, and apparently they
Address it.
they address how she got her legs back.
Just something that they didn't want to outright, like, hey, so here's how this story works out.
Yeah.
So is that what's going to be in the initial cutscene that they're still keeping quiet?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it'll be like in the story, you know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Like, I think it's just one of those things where they'll cut to like a montage of her overcoming, you know,
Her obstacles.
Their
and-
obstacles. We need a montage.
Montage!
Even Rocky had a montage.
Montage!
Overcoming her non-working
Yeah.
appendages somehow.
Usually a life crippling
Like-
issue, yes.
Like if like somebody in a wheelchair in like a televangelist church and he's like, banish thee, and they stand up.
Right.
I'm not gay no more. Have you seen that one? I like women.
You seen the one where the woman has a demon inside of her crotch or whatever, and the pastor's like, he's bent down, like vagina level, just like yelling, trying to get this thing out of her, and I'm just.
I love religion. That's so awesome.
The other day, Misty and I were watching a documentary on Darwin, and at one point, this guy goes, "Well, I started off on weed, and then I got addicted to crack, and then one night I just prayed, and then poof, immediately my addiction was gone. Explain that if God doesn't exist." And I like, well, you just stopped.
Yeah,
Like,
you
that's-
just didn't do the
You just
thing.
you had
found
a
the
reason.
will- yeah, you found
and
the
stopped.
willpower.
Yeah, like that's.
I can explain it. You started smoking weed and crack, first of all.
That is a problem that I have with that. Like, no, you did it. You did it.
Yeah.
Like, take credit
exactly,
for
like-
yourself. Like, you should be fucking proud that you did it.
Well, and that's one of the things that is interesting about the word invent, because invent doesn't mean that you came up with it. The vent part of it is Latin venire, meaning like to come to, or to meet with.
So the idea
And so
came
it's-
to you.
Well, right, but with the direct insinuation that you came to it because God led you.
Oh.
So like nothing comes from you yourself. It's all God's inspiration.
All divine intervention.
In that
So,
case, I vent to some things before I go to bed.
I mean, God's brought me to a lot of beds.
Predetermined destiny.
But yeah, no. So I always thought that was kind of.
But Batman Gotham
Knights
looks fucking great. So this is Montreal, right?
Yeah, these are the people that did Arkham Origins.
So,
which is a great game, by the way.
Yeah, so I think you should be very, very cautiously optimistic about this.
And that's what it is.
I already have one concern.
Yeah.
But the gameplay looked great.
It looks a lot better now. Like the first time that we saw the gameplay, I thought it looked like shit, but this looks really good.
Yeah.
I think that they've definitely
the fight moves are awesome.
touched shit up.
That one trailer that they released, when was that? We showed up to your apartment and it was like, I don't know, something for DC was being like promoted, and it was like the first time we saw like a trailer for it, and it actually looked. It was like a cinematic trailer.
Yeah,
it actually looked really, really good.
It's pre-ordered already. Like
I would, I would have figured nothing less.
Yeah.
But this is also the one that the older gen versions got canceled, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
Man, making all the right moves. Sorry, Derek.
Yeah.
Every last one of you.
Making all the right fucking moves, man. That just means that the product's going to be stronger in my eyes.
I mean, honestly, the only reason I haven't even tried to get a PS5 is just because I really don't want to drop $500. I really don't have the extra cash to be dropping 500 bones, you know?
And it's absolutely 100% not fucking worth it right now, just so you're aware.
No.
I have 2 of the sons of bitches and I barely play them, so.
I mean, I could always borrow one.
Maybe one day.
You ain't borrowing mine.
But yeah, I mean, it's an Arkham game. It looks great. Like, I've loved all the Arkham games, of course. And the only thing is, God, that dialogue.
Yeah, the writers need to get back in the booth and go back over it.
Go back to the drawing board. Let's figure this shit out.
They need some different voice direction because, it is really sounding.
I thought that the voice
rough.
acting was really well, but the lines are just awful.
Right. No one's gonna ever mow you again, grass. Like, what fucking motherfucker bullying grass,
Not
bro.
only that, it's got like the same flaws in the narration from the character that you're following that Days Gone suffered.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that it's just very Days Gone dialogue to me.
This seems to be the office. No shit, Sherlock. The only fucking room that's in front of you.
Right.
Like,
it has a big fucking desk in it. Who knew?
And in Days Gone, it's not that the dialogue.
I guess
what was his name
I guess
in
I
the
would call it
game?
exposition.
Deacon. I was gonna say Sam, but that's the actor.
that's the actor.
But it's not that the dialogue in Days Gone was out of place. It was just not well written.
Yeah.
It is what I would always say. But
It was the first attempt.
Yeah, I mean, but other than that, I mean, it follows the formula. It looks great. Like, I don't need Arkham games to be anything other than what they are. And I'm perfectly happy.
Right.
So one quick tidbit about I wouldn't feel too bad about it being next gen only, because probably around the time that you get a PS5, this game is going to be like $20.
True.
So
True.
this is generally that's usually how these titles go.
Oh, yeah.
By Christmas it's definitely going to be half off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's food for thought, but I really genuinely don't believe that the PS5 is worth it right now. So don't worry too much about it. But this may be something that pushes a lot of people toward getting something next gen. I was speaking with Joey today. He has a job at Smith's, like we said on the Hangout episode. He's saying that there are constantly new Series X's coming through all the fucking time. Like, they have brand new Xboxes up on there. And I'm just saying, as a Valley thing, like in the Valley, if I can only find a Series X, I'm gonna go with a Series X, especially if I want to play Gotham Knights that bad.
Bro, I kind of want one though.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Kind of want one.
You would.
I do.
Hey, I still kind of want one too.
Right. But yeah, no, I think gameplay looks great. I mean, it has the, typical Arkham tropes, the silent takedowns, the traversal is
It seems pretty one-on-one, though, with combat, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, isn't that is like when they show you the little character screen, like that's one of the things that it says that Barbara Gordon's specialty is.
Right.
One-on-one?
So, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
it says she's a single target bruiser.
Okay.
So maybe Robin does the multiple.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's weird. So I wonder if Batgirl's mission structure is going to be completely different than all the others. Because if it's single one-on-one...
Well, I don't know, because it gives you the option to choose who you want to play as right at the beginning.
So you get less enemies if you play as Batgirl because she's one-on-one?
Maybe that's just what was shown. Like,
it is the first 16 minutes, so it could just be like tutorial shit.
I feel like they wouldn't skimp out on enemies if you pick one certain person. Like, that would be a dumb fucking move.
Yeah, so...
I feel like maybe like with her being a single target person, she'd have to rely more on stealth. Or
that's what I'm saying, yeah, as if they're like a completely different mission structure. Like you're doing completely different things as if you would be with Red Red
so
Hood.
like the missions are the same, but you're not attacking them differently, but
that as well. Like I'm saying, like you know how Mary Jane had her own little mini playable episode in the Spider-Man game. I'm saying something like not nearly to that same extreme degree, but like
something like that.
Something like that, where it's like each mission is something completely different.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
Or it could be the same thing where, or just flipped around where it's just a level and you get to pick who. So I'm thinking that it's probably just the first 16 minutes of the game. So I think that this is just like tutorial stuff.
Yeah.
What I meant by when I said it seems very one-on-one focused, it just seems like there's a lot more focus on the two combatants. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas
instead of it being like a swarm that
and
you
in
have
Arkham,
to counter.
The camera like comes back pretty far just to show you like how many enemies you're going across, and then there's
the counter,
there's the counter, there's the the little spidey sense thing that you get to counter it the right way if you time it right and stuff like that. So I'm just wondering if that's probably what's going to happen, right?
I think that it's more a character based thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Robin would have that, or Nightwing. You know what I mean? Like,
I bet Robin has a batarang that whips around and hits
is
a bunch of
it
people.
Red Hood? Is that the name of the guy?
yeah.
I think Red Hood probably is like more crowd control because he's guns, right?
Yeah, he's guns.
So I would think it's something like that.
Yeah.
Nightwing, probably aerial, lots of aerial moves. Probably also really good with crowds.
I'd probably say he's more of a. I'd say he's more of a striker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say he's more of a striker. The one that
would be Ariel
is
Robin.
Robin.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would guess that Nightwing would be somewhat similar to Barbara.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but with more crowd control.
Right.
And then Robin would be the aerial person, just because.
I see what they're going for though with Batman or with Batgirl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be in her. It'd be very advantageous for her to focus on one at a time.
Especially with them broke ass legs.
Yeah. Them stem cell ass fucking legs.
But yeah, looks
Still
good.
regrowing.
Looks good. I think it has potential. I
agree.
I'm concerned at the amount of media we haven't seen for it though.
Yeah.
Like
The way it looked today, I think you should put those fears to bed. If you liked what you saw today, I think you're fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I really, not only that, this game's been in development for a long fucking time.
I mean, I hope it's not too short, but at the same time, with the multiple characters, I think you've got a ton of replay value, even if it is short.
Let's just hope that they don't bank on that. Let's hope that they
exactly.
create enough content that it's like, oh, I can go through the whole game again with another character, and that is very satisfying,
Right.
fulfilling. Yeah.
I agree.
Because there's a lot of games that really rely on that, where it's like, oh, we have so many characters, and it's like, you're not a fucking fighting game, bitch.
Right.
Like, we want more content than just this.
For real.
One of the things that I've got here is a really, really impressive feat that was completed. I think it was...
A feat of strength, by the way?
Where was this article written? Thursday. Okay. So earlier in the summer, if you guys are familiar with Charles White Jr., also known as Moist Critical, he...
let's go, baby!
Let's go, baby!
Yeah, I am not.
Well, he's a very popular...
Like a streamer?
Yeah.
Or
Yes,
okay.
He is a very small,
Penis.
beautiful man.
Oh.
He's known for his wild analogies and his quippy nature and his monotone voice. He's very tall. He talks down
Remember
like this.
when I did
He collects like the world's largest dildos, and he has one that's called Moby Dick.
All right.
Do you remember, Derek, when I did my intro where I was like, that was more cringe than the...
Oh, yeah.
That was like
yeah.
my impression of him.
Gotcha.
And then he's gone and he has an army of Charlies that are just people that dress up like him.
Because he's afraid of flying, so he sends people in the Charlie verse to go and stand in for him.
I'll have to show you.
All right.
After we finish here, I'll
He's
have to show
very
you.
funny. He knows what he's doing.
He's a very interesting...
I'll have to
amazing
show you a video that I came across of him.
You might not like him though, because he fucking hates The Last of Us Part 2.
I mean, he can be wrong. That's fine.
I mean, you like him.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I really had to look at him funny after the shit that he said about The Last of Us Part 2, because it was like, really, dude, did you play the fucking game? Like, anyways, continue.
So earlier in the summer, he posted a $5,000 bounty for somebody offered to anybody who could do this on stream to beat Halo 2 on the highest difficulty setting with every skull turned on. It's called the LASO challenge. So legendary, all skulls on.
Except Envy.
What?
Except
Yeah,
Envy.
yeah.
Envy gives you an advantage.
Yeah. So, nobody had done it. So nobody had done it for a long time. So he was just like, you know what? Fuck it. It's $20,000 now. So he added 15 grand onto it. And
Nobody was doing it, so he was like, all right, fuck it.
yeah, I'm up
Just
in
to
the
confirm,
stakes.
nobody has done this ever. Halo 2 is notoriously fucking hard, especially on Legendary alone. And then these skulls are like they're difficulty modifiers. So
Right.
it turns every enemy into these insane bullet sponges. It turns their weapons into death-dealing fucking insta-kill machines. And there's also like there's one level called Gravemind near the end of the game. It's like level 9 where you start the level and there's a pretty good chance if you're playing on Legendary, you're just dead. Like immediately. And one of the skulls is it sends you all the way back to the beginning of the game.
Jesus.
And so, I mean, I was watching. I don't know if you watched the little recap video that he did when the guy, and I'll let you finish. But he was saying that like most of the people trying this challenge, like they were doing the hashtag Halo 2 Lasso challenge, almost 90% of them didn't even get past the first fucking level.
Yeah.
Didn't get past
No.
Halo Station.
Christ.
So, honestly, I've played Halo my entire fucking life, right? I'm playing through Halo right now on Legendary, Halo 2, and Halo 2 is so fucking mean on what it does. It has these things called sniper jackals, which jackals are not hard to take out by themselves. They have no shield, so they're just a one-shot headshot, like grunts. Like, they're very easily taken. But these things are so fucking obscure, and they're so far out into the fucking, into the environment that you cannot see them until they've fired their first shot, because the weapon that they're shooting is a sniper rifle, and you can see, obviously, the trail of the laser. But by the time that you notice the second laser, you're already fucking dead, because the sniper jackal is, insanely accurate, and it is one-shot kill. So, and that's just on base Halo Legendary.
Right.
Halo
By
2
the way,
Legendary.
this challenge has to be done without dying.
Well, I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the skulls. Is that if you die, then it sends you all the way back. Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but so this went on for, obviously a couple months, and this article was posted on Thursday around 12:30. So they're saying that last night this happened, but there was a streamer named Jervelin who completed the challenge. I think it was like a 6.5 hours. It was like,
So he'd been grinding it. He'd
Yeah.
been grinding it for like everybody's been grinding it out for the last month, but him and like 3 other streamers were the ones that were actually like getting close.
Yeah.
But then all of them hit Gravemine, and Jervelin's the only one that
Yeah.
was like, I can do this. Like, I can actually manage to do this.
yeah. So
Did you watch him do like the ending part? He takes a Banshee into the final boss fight and just sits there and just pelts Tartarus with the fucking Banshee.
yeah, no, that was genius.
Well, and he also took advantage of a lot of speed strats too, like manipulating the geometry of the environment and like
Yeah.
getting behind walls and just like completely skipping entire parts, like which you fucking have to, because there's no fucking way. I would break everything in my room.
Yeah.
Like, no fucking chance. Dude, no. Halo on Legendary is no joke. Like, especially Halo 1 and Halo 2. It's fucking so ridiculous. I can't even imagine.
No, thank you.
Dude, I haven't even beat like Resident Evil 3 on Nightmare or Resident Evil 7. Like Resident Evil 7 on Madhouse is ridiculous.
Yo,
So I can't even imagine.
He did that shit on a fucking Xbox, my guy.
Yeah.
He did that shit on original hardware.
He didn't play from the Master Chief collection.
No
or anything
fucking
like
mouse
that.
and keyboard or
No,
nothing.
no.
Fucking nailed it. Insane.
Yeah.
Like so much to the point where the Halo Twitter account like made custom artwork for him and everything. Did you see that?
They shouted him out. What was the quote that they said? Because it was really cool.
Great shit happened today or something like that. Like greatness happened.
Yeah, at the end, he's at the end of his stream, he goes, "All right, chat, I think we did it. I think we fucking did it. Imagine that 2 years ago I said this is impossible. Imagine that." So here's where the Halo devs respond, and they said, "There are those who said this day would never come. What are they to say now?" They said, "Congratulations to Jervelin on this legendary feat."
Very cool.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Very cool.
Insane.
No, like you really have no idea how fucking hard this is.
I
Like
believe
it's
you. No, I
fucking
believe you.
insanely impossible. And
Yeah.
can't believe people.
If somebody is offering you $20,000 to do this, like, it's not going to be easy.
So I've got, at least for me, very sad news. I mean, it's not that you guys wouldn't give a shit, but
I don't give a shit.
Bernard Cribbins, who played Wilf in Doctor Who, I believe it was during David Tennant's Doctor, but anyway, it must have been. He played Donna Noble's father,
Oh, okay.
and he was like the sweetest, most wonderful man. Like he is a character that he wasn't. There were a few moments, integral moments that he was a part of, but he wasn't what you would necessarily call a character of consequence generally. But like, I defy you to find a person that has watched New Doctor Who that is not absolutely in love with that character, because he is.
True.
He's amazing. But yes, so anyway, he passed at the end of July. So very, very sad news.
I do think I remember.
I've got a picture of him.
I remember seeing that, not knowing who he was, but I thought of you because I read through it. And I was
okay.
like, oh, Doctor Who. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Derek's thing.
Yeah, no, it's very, very sad. His character was absolutely wonderful. I don't know him from anything else, but I mean, he just seems like such a sweet, sweet man. So it's very, very sad.
Bummer.
So our condolences, of course, to family, friends, and fans. But yeah, really, really sad stuff.
That and the girl from Star Trek.
Oh,
Nichelle
Nichelle.
Nichols, yeah.
Yeah.
Who played Uhura?
In some happier news, Moon Knight 2 is greenlit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't, it boggles my mind to this day that there are people that are like, that show was trash.
Yeah, idiots.
I don't get it.
Not
What
based.
was it? Was it the episode? I'm in the process of watching it still, but apparently there's one that everyone was freaking out about. Was it the 5th one, or like was it the 4th one?
Not sure.
Because like when it came out, people were like, because you know with Stranger Things, how everyone's like, oh, episode 4 of the new season is insane. It was kind of to that extent with Moon Knight, but I can't remember which one it was. But
Yeah, I don't remember.
I was watching that, but I remember I started watching Miss Marvel, so I'll have to go back
Oh,
and
right.
finish that.
Yeah.
In funny wrestling news, Sasha Banks charges $130 for photo ops at conventions, and one of her rules to her photo ops is that they have to stand 6 feet away from her.
Shame on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Shame on you.
You just see these pictures of her, and she's like throwing up peace signs, and there's someone like 6 feet away.
Absolutely unacceptable.
Some guy's arm coming into the frame.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I'm sure that it's due probably quite directly to some fans not understanding personal space and bad touch.
Right, but I
But
mean,
still.
like, don't go to conventions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Or just say like no touching. Like that's all that's
you can be like a foot apart and still take a
Dude,
good picture. You
Who
know,
actually paid for that, though?
a bunch of fucking
Dude,
people.
that's
Yeah.
so fucking...
On that same note though, did you hear that we may be getting Sasha and Naomi back in WWE?
Yes, I heard that not only are we getting Sasha and Naomi back, but we might get Bray Wyatt back as well.
Yeah, I heard that too.
We already had Dakota Kai's return,
Karrion Kross,
Karrion Kross. Yeah.
who looks so much better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He needed that revamp. for sure.
Absolutely.
A lot of things happening under Triple H's WWE. I'll tell
But
you
Vince
what.
is still there though.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Vince is totally still in charge.
Giving Tommaso Ciampa a U.S. title shot on the very first Raw
Yeah.
after Vince leaves.
Bullshit.
Vince is so far away from that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, is the website Kayfabe News like legit?
No.
No,
Okay.
no. It's satire.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
kayfabe.
I just saw something come up on Google and I clicked on it. And
Yeah.
I, like
That they're turning back to WWF.
Yeah.
well, with the name of it, I was like, that could be a news outlet because kayfabe relates to wrestling.
Right, but no, dude. The World Wildlife Fund would have a show.
Yeah, I started
having
reading this and I'm like, okay, that's
So
weird.
speaking of, this dude commented and said, "Well, that would effectively walk themselves back into court with the World Wildlife Fund, wouldn't it?" And then did a shrug emoji, and so of course I had to.
People speak with such fucking
Right.
conviction on
So
Facebook. It's
I
ridiculous.
responded and said, "Oh, sweet! I can fill my bingo space for guy who takes joke post way too seriously and asks about the real world repercussions of shit that's clearly satire." So then he replied after I said that, and it's never mind because it's gone. Oh yeah, he said something to the effect of like, he brought up QAnon. For some reason,
Of course he did.
Of course.
like, and so I mean, remember I said like, great, I can fill in my bingo space for this dumb,
Yeah.
this dumb guy, and he said, "Is it now?" And I, like, is it what? What the fuck? That doesn't even make sense to what I said.
Is what now?
Yeah, he was like, "Is it so, or is it that, or whatever?" He said, and then he brought up QAnon, and I don't understand what any of the things he said has to do with what I said. I was like, bro,
Because he brought up QAnon. Nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about.
what on earth does me poking fun at you for not understanding satire, like what does that have to do with QAnon nut jobs? I'm so confused right now, and he hasn't replied.
He was probably one of the people that waited for the dead body of Kennedy to be resurrected and run for president. Dude.
It's weird because like his profile picture has like a border on it that says that he got his COVID-19 booster. So I feel like he's not one of the QAnon people, but he's clearly not one of the intelligent people either.
That reminds me of one of my favorite things that I've heard recently is, all the patriots or whatever, like, I die for the government. I love this country. I'll do anything. All right, go get your shot. I don't trust the government.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, no.
They're gonna take my gun.
I love all because like selective outrage is fun, but so is selective trust. Like it just seems that's such a weird thing to exist.
Really quick, that just reminds me of an article I read. It was posted by this I don't know if they're I think they're a thrift shop down in Salt Lake. They're called Iconoclad. And they posted an article. There's a shop in Bluffdale called Lions Not Sheep.
Oh, God.
And they got fined because they altered the made in China on all of their clothes to say made in the USA.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Did you see the trailer for that AEW wrestling game?
Yes.
I have not. How is it?
I'm holding out hope.
Yeah.
I want to like it just because,
Man, they made Kenny Omega look really good in that game.
Fuck, bro. Okay, how is it just bad all over?
I personally don't think it looks terrible.
It
but-
doesn't look bad, but like Kenny Omega looks way more yoked than he really is.
He got video gamified
Holy
fucking
shit.
hard, dude.
Like his muscles are about to rip through his
that
flesh.
reminds me of the WWE like mobile game or whatever it was, where their like body measurements are like extremely.
Are you talking about Battlegrounds?
Maybe I think so.
The Switch looking one.
Their proportions are extreme in that game.
Yeah, that motherfucker looking like he's got 2% body fat.
Right.
I'm ashamed that I paid money for that fucking atrocity.
Oh, for Battlegrounds.
It was on sale at least, so
Yeah.
I have that. But
Do you think Kenny was like overseeing it? Was like, no, bigger,
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
enhance? Enhance.
I don't know. Like it's Ukes and THQ Nordic.
Oh, okay.
So it has the potential.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And Ukes has been behind just about every wrestling game.
Yeah.
Pedigree, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I mean it as far as maybe gameplay and shit like that.
Well, no pedigree in this game.
Yeah, no pedigree.
I'm sure they'll call it something else.
Yeah.
Like, so what was it? Somebody did a pedigree in another like promotion, and instead of calling it the pedigree, they called it like an underhook driver or something like that, like something weird.
Fuck.
Yeah, but I don't know. All weird shit aside, like I'm gonna play it just because. But
Another title that got leaked, by the way.
yeah,
Like almost no fucking surprises in the gaming
Ever.
industry right now
Yeah.
because it's all just getting leaked.
Did you see that AEW, Tony Khan came out and said that he is basically adding more people to upper management and sort of specifying different roles so that
yeah,
like delegating things out as opposed to just so like he's putting the infrastructure in there that honestly it should have been there in the first place, but
right.
he's if that goes well, he gets the right people in there.
Well, he's got so many of like the
Oh, yeah.
older heads. Paul White, this is his last run. There's no reason why he shouldn't go back to production
Oh, yeah.
or talent relations or shit like that. You've got so many. I can't think of any right
Well,
now.
let me hit you with some names that. Oh shite!
Let me hit you with some names. fucking got Nick's ass right there, bro, with that one.
What the fuck did I say?
The sound, like the way you said that, was, let me hit you with some names.
Okay, so he's expanding the talent relations team, adding Sonjay Dutt, QT Marshall, Pat Buck, and Tony Schiavone.
All great.
Yeah.
All great.
In addition, Madison Rayne will join AEW to coach the women's division. So, yeah. Let's see. Sonjay Dutt is going to be vice president of production and creative coordination. So he's going to be coordinating the communication with the storylines, post-production stuff, maintain like the workflow as well as the storylines. Then we've got QT Marshall, who's going to be the vice president of show and creative coordination. So he's going to manage the actual episodes, some of the elements of the episodes, like the program planning, storylines, character development, logistics, all that kind of stuff. Pat Buck is vice president of talent development. So he's going to be helping oversee, coaching, coaches, and talent relations, matches, helping people get better at their promo work and that kind of thing. Tony Schiavone is promoted to senior producer and special advisor to talent. So he's going to be working directly with the talent. And then Madison Rayne, of course, like I said, she's going to be coaching the women's division. This one wasn't above in the article, but it mentions Christopher Daniels. So he is going to be, so he's continuing. That's why. So he's going to be continuing as manager of talent relations. So, I mean, with putting this type of stuff in place, it sounds like, they want talent to still have a say over things, but it's going to be a lot more of a tighter ship with an actual direction, which, that bodes super well for them.
Only thing that concerns me is the amount of titles that AEW has.
Yeah.
So we've got an AEW champion, an interim AEW champion. We've got an All-Atlantic champion, a TNT champion, the women's, the tags, the TBS women's champion. And they're going to be introducing, I believe, a trios title.
Yeah. On the other side, though, you've also got WWE who keeps unifying titles or putting multiple titles on the same person or people. Right, but
but a saturation of titles, it drops importance.
It diminishes the importance of it.
True, but hopefully WWE will be separating. I think I saw a rumor that they'll be de-unifying, I guess, if you want to call it that. Splitting out the title.
Let's hope.
Yeah, because
especially with Roman Reigns being part-time right now.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, that's AEW. Like they're actually obviously could be missteps or things that need to be adjusted, but they're making the changes they need to make the ship steer in one direction.
Right. Right.
Small piggyback on the topic of wrestling, since we didn't get to do an episode on SummerSlam.
Oh yeah.
Cole's favorite female wrestler has returned.
Nikita Lyons?
No, Bayley.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I don't hate Bayley.
So the end of the first match of SummerSlam, which was Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. The match finishes. Bayley's music plays, she comes out, and then it's just like a holy fuck. We get Dakota Kai comes running out, and then Io Shirai, but Io Sky
that's her
comes
name.
out.
Is Io Sky.
And you're just sitting here just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Get it? Because she's a high flyer.
Yeah, because apparently Shirai was too Japanese. Yeah. That was a Vince decision, I believe.
I think so, too. That was garbage. Although... we've got what's his bucket back with his full name,
Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali.
And then of course you know, the main event was a straight up 10 out of 10 match. Like,
Oh fuck!
back to
yeah.
back to the
To the
Attitude Era.
I saw. I'm sure you guys have seen it too, but have you seen the meme where like it basically says, "Man, how would it feel to pay like upwards of a few $100s for a ringside seat, only to stare at the bottom of the ring for most of the match?" Because they
So for those of you that don't know, Brock Lesnar brought a tractor out to the ring, and with that tractor went under the ring and lifted it.
yeah,
Well,
and then
he
just
pushed
left
it. He pushed it
Yeah.
forward too, like a good amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then he lifts that side of the ring up and just leaves it there for the rest of the match. So anybody on the other side of the ring is not seeing a fucking thing because they spent the rest of the match against that other side of the ring.
Hey, man.
That would blow ass.
I mean, it was great. Like, they did all of this shit. Paul Heyman got fucking F5 through the table.
Yeah.
And then Theory comes out, and I just went, fuck.
No,
Oh, I
I knew
know.
he wasn't gonna cash
And
it
then,
in.
yeah, then he got his ass handed to him. I was honestly hoping for the first time in my life that Brock Lesnar would win,
yeah.
but
WWE did a great job making Brock the babyface.
Yeah.
in this.
Dude, it's really surprising to me, but yeah, no, I mean they did really well with it.
yeah, SummerSlam was, I thought, very, very good. I just felt like they made it way too big of a deal. Like,
I think so too. But I mean, it's SummerSlam. They have.
but I mean, like, they tried to like WrestleMania it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many times did you see Greg Miller's dumbass fucking face up on the stage?
Not much.
No,
You didn't see him? Really? Not at all? Oh.
Just- I was watching even SmackDown like on Saturday, and it was just like I just kept seeing the SummerSlam graphic, and I'm like, "Fuck, this was last week." Like,
Yeah.
it's not WrestleMania, dude.
They
One of
made
the-
it like such a big deal that he was part of wrestling now. Like, huh? Okay.
One thing that I will give against my better judgment, Logan Paul fucking killed it.
Dude, I hate him so much, but he did a good job. I am so mad about it.
The only criticism I have is that he's a babyface right now. Once the WWE gets their head out of their asses, Logan Paul is going to be the best heel
Like they're not even tapping into
that the company's ever going to.
the hate that's already there for
Yeah.
him, and that's I don't understand why they wouldn't be
is
tapping
he,
into that.
Also, how is he already like a better wrestler than Dominic Mysterio?
I know. Huh? Well, and dude, there are so many memes about that.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I brought it up. I'm
Yeah.
like, make it make sense. And then I thought about it, and I was like, okay, yeah.
Bro, he's a better wrestler than Ronda Rousey.
I mean, that's not surprising. That's not remotely surprising. But still,
She's getting better, but him right now, he's better than a lot of like the decent people.
I don't even want to say she's getting better. She's getting less bad.
Yeah.
Like she's not to the point where I would tip her above the midway point of good to bad.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it's not Jake Paul
Yeah.
and not Logan Paul. Because, dude, Jake Paul, that's all fucking Jake Paul does, is he's just a heel. He's just
Yeah.
a real life heel. He just fucking pisses people off all the time.
They both are.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, but Logan Paul, like, has taken such a, I hate to say it, but a lot more of a reverent pace. Like, he's not nearly as rambunctious
Yeah.
and loud and
Well, he's probably using all that time to train because he did fucking great.
well, even looking at like some of the stuff that he's doing on his podcast, he seems quiet, reserved, and like actually thinks about what he says before he says it. And this is just total,
Interesting.
outside.
Well, he signed
looking in.
the moment he's signing with WWE. He's
Yeah.
taking on an entirely new behavior. You have to.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's not trying to talk shit to Floyd Mayweather.
I'm surprised that WWE wants anything to do with him after what he did in Japan. But
I
I mean,
mean,
that was a while ago. Like,
yeah, but
and he's-
filming a dead body is still
yeah,
pretty
but
fucking
like
heinous.
especially with Vince still having been in charge at that time, he will do anything to get eyes on the product. Doesn't like
Yeah.
if you love the person, okay, cool. If you absolutely hate the person, fucking cool, because hate brings people way more than love.
I definitely thought it would be reversed. I would have thought that Logan Paul would have been the boxer and Jake would have been the
wrestler.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think that door's closed either.
Probably not.
I think that Jake will make his way.
What if
to
we
the
get a
WWE.
tag team?
Yeah, the Paul brothers
Oh
tag
my
team.
god.
Logan's like got more notoriety than Jake too.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Well, Jake's just kind of known for being a dickhead.
The only time I hear about Jake Paul is when Logan Paul mentions him. Like honestly,
Or it's some new fucking shitty thing that he's doing. Those two really, you can hate them all you want, and I really, truly, I believe that you should, because I don't think that they're good people, but they made all the right fucking moves in the YouTube game, in the Vine game.
Yeah, and I mean,
They did all the right
apart
shit.
from making the right moves, like he is clearly dedicated to doing well in the ring.
Yeah,
like,
he's absolutely a student of the game.
I mean, he's regardless. Like,
I think it's money. Well, yeah, I think that he's seeing a shit ton of money, so he's
Yeah.
like, whatever I got to do, I'm gonna keep fucking doing
yeah.
it.
But then you've got Ronda Rousey, who has the same thing in front of her, and is like, I'll pick it up.
yeah.
I'll pick it up as I go. You know, whatever.
I liked Roddy Piper as a kid. Like, shut up. Get good.
MGTOW.
Bitch.
Roddy kind of sounds like Ronda. I know what we could do. But yeah, no, it like I mean I hate him with a burning passion, but that motherfucker put in the work.
He did. He's like my wrestling stepdad right now. I hate him, but I respect him. You know what I mean?
he's not my
Man,
real
he
dad.
showed up. He showed up to every game.
Right, like
Oh,
I
fuck.
hate him, but he got my respect eventually. Like,
It's like the end of Anchorman where he's like, "I hate you, Ron, with every fiber of my being." God damn it, I respect you.
Yep.
What does
Exactly.
Gambino say? He says, rap
stepfather.
stepchild, rap stepfather.
You hate me, but you will respect. Yep. That's pretty much what Logan Paul did. Like, I was just like, you are a garbage human, but motherfucker, you can wrestle, bro.
I have one last piece here that I wanted to.
Oh, right.
So, Seth Rogen's new TMNT movie is called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, and it will be released on August 4th, 2023, which is a full week earlier than the one they announced last summer.
A lot of polarizing comments.
However, if you haven't seen the logo, look it up because it's dope.
Yeah, very
it's-
turtles.
Very.
Somebody in the comments was like, joke's on all of you. It's just him laughing for an hour and a half.
And you can
I'd pay for
you
it.
can't stop me from watching that. Like,
Yeah, no, right.
All of the turtles just laugh like Seth Rogen.
No, he voices. He voices all the turtles.
Cowabunga. Like, I totally fucking like pizza. That's really all it is.
I brought some pizza and some ranch dipping sauce.
Oh, God.
Cole, you got yourself your Steam Deck.
Yes, sir.
Talk to
Gentlemen, the Steam Deck, pass it around. Hold it in your hands. See what you think.
Oh my goodness,
Is it a beefy boy?
it's a nice board. Like, it's very like,
Sturdy.
yeah.
Sturdy. It's very well built. So, the Steam Deck, made by Valve. What do I have to say?
Tell us.
It's fucking awesome.
Bulb.
Valve, yeah. It's dope. It's like I was telling you, Eddie, before we started recording. It's been about 90% dealing with issues, 10% playing games. Very clearly found out why. I very quickly found out why this is not a very widely available product. There's a lot of issues that you have to dig through.
Did you get the biggest one or like middle? I was gonna get the middle one, but sadly, I could not afford to hang on to my reservation. So
I mean, it looks great.
So there are a few games that I want you to try before you leave today, not necessarily during the podcast, but and you can go into the library, you can boot up any games that you want. Most of them I've played around with and have like ideal settings, but you know how that is, dude. You can sit there and tweak that shit for hours.
Is the check mark something that you've already got that you can play? The green.
So the green check mark means that it plays
Oh, I see.
exceptionally well.
I'm on the installed tab. I see it now. Okay.
Yeah. So the first problem that I had was that for some reason, every time I put the machine in sleep mode, it just would and reawake it to play, you know, to turn it back on. It does not automatically connect back to the internet. And I thought, oh, you know, that's really weird, but whatever, you know, I'll just go in and see what's up in my settings, and then it just like absolutely locked me out, and I couldn't figure out why. Like it kept telling me to re-enter my password, and I couldn't figure out the majority of what the deck has to offer because it has to have an internet connection.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an internet connection for the boot up for all of your games, you will not be able to boot the game up completely because it has to talk to Steam directly to verify that you have the game.
It's exactly like running Steam on a PC. Like if your internet's out and all your games are in Steam, you can't fucking play them.
Yeah, that's it's kind of shitty,
That's rough.
But I see them fixing it. Like I see them doing something better than what they have right now because so what they do, they have a workaround for that. They have an offline mode that you have to manually toggle every time that you want to leave the house because it's not like the Switch where if you take your Switch out of your house and you, like let's say you go to your parents' house or whatever and you take your Switch with you. You can just play your games whenever you want, right? You can just boot them right up. But with the deck, you can't. Unless you went into the settings specifically before you left your Wi-Fi connection and went in and toggled the offline mode, it will not let you into any of your games.
Jesus.
At all. So a lot of people have found a workaround with this. They say, hey, it's not that big of a deal. Just use a hotspot on your phone and then go in and do, like connect your deck to your hotspot. If you're not by a Wi-Fi connection, connect it to a hotspot and then go in and turn it into offline mode. So there are workarounds. It's not impossible, but it's still incredibly inconvenient that you have to do that. Again, not that big of it's not a deal breaker. That doesn't really kill things for me. But what does is that it was consistently giving me issues where I'm doing like hours upon hours upon hours of research just trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with my deck. Because I'm very against RMAing my shit unless it's like physical damage. I'm not going to send it back in, like especially with something like this. Like, I really had a hard time thinking that it was like a damaged Wi-Fi receiver or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I really doubt that that's the problem. And then I go online and I see all these people are having this same exact fucking issue. And there's like one specific fix, but I did it and it never fucking helped. And it got to the point where the only way that I could connect the deck to the internet was to completely reboot the system. Ugh. Which was, unacceptable. So finally, this fucking morning, I woke up at like 5 and I was like, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to figure out what the fuck's going on. And I finally found a fucking buried Reddit post talking about, so what it was is that the deck is having a hard time distinguishing between the two. You know how when you updated your Wi-Fi router, it randomly gave you two different channels. One was 2.5 gigahertz and one was 5 gigahertz, and everyone was like, go to the 5 gigahertz, obviously.
Right.
So the deck is having an issue. It's a software bug where it can't distinguish between the two. It can't say, oh, okay, I'm going to connect to the 5 because it's faster, obviously, and that's
Does it like just hop between?
So what it does is it ignores it. It just straight up fucking ignores it because it's having issues specifically with the 5. This is real nerdy shit, but specifically with the 5 gigahertz connection. So what it was, and I don't know why they did it this way. I'm sure that they have their reasons, but like I had to go into desktop mode. I had to go into the Linux settings and go to my Wi-Fi settings and go to IPVS6 or something like that, and it was set to ignore. And I don't know why the fuck they did that. So I changed it to disabled. Don't have any issues. Connects immediately. Have no issues at all. Also, it's the 5 gigahertz because it downloads shit really fucking fast. So
the joystick placement on either side is kind of weird to get used to.
So you are used to your Switch. Angela said the same thing, and I definitely had the same, like, whoa, this is like, I immediately wanted to,
awkward.
I immediately wanted to press the B button to confirm. Like, that's a big thing because your brain is immediately going to, oh, this is a Nintendo Switch, right? Like, I'm holding a giant Switch right now. So those buttons don't really make sense, but I will tell you that it does fade fast. Like that, eventually, when you actually sit down and get into games, it's not that bad. Like,
it's kind of making me, and I don't know, because I've been seeing a lot of ads for the, you've heard of the Backbone?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a PlayStation one that just got released, and I've been seeing a lot of ads for it, and I'm like, that could be kind of cool.
Now that all of the shitty things are out of the way, I want to talk about the fun things. Obviously, if you're into like just going nuts with your settings and like optimizing everything to make it so everything looks great, feels great, you know, you're going to be right at home. I'm putting almost every one of my games on medium, on like the detail settings type deal for like all of it, just for like battery's sake. Like Tetris. Tetris is probably the one that I've been playing the most. And I noticed that I could get away with a lot on turning settings down for that, but still maintain 60 frames and have a consistent battery. That seems to be the main thing that I'm gonna have to worry about with this thing is battery life. Mm-hmm. Like I'm already thinking about buying like a substantial battery pack that I can just like carry around somehow, because most games are not going to play for a very long time. Like, and this is another thing that I said to Eddie too. I said that like you can do the big giant games on this thing, right? Like you can throw on, I threw on Final Fantasy VII for a minute, you know, it doesn't play great in my opinion. It doesn't feel great on the deck, and it's super, you know, muddled and muddy, and, you know, it's very clearly like running on a smaller PC, where that's not really what I'm going for when I want to play that game. Like I want to go for big, beautiful 120 frames. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And if I have to sacrifice that much just to get 60 frames, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And like, if I can only play the game for like an hour and a half, that's also pretty unacceptable. But you can go in and you can do all these different settings, right? And you can get, like one setting that I really like that's helping me save substantially on battery life is just lowering the refresh rate down to 45. And you can't tell what you're missing when it's that small of a gap between 45 and 60 frames.
Yeah. And
with that small of a screen, it's not really outputting that much, right? So it can focus more on you know, not being as smeary and being a little bit more clear and focused just by having 40 that setting of 45 frames.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nick's probably the only one that understands this, but it's really cool. And it's cool that like I can play something like GTA or Red Dead Redemption 2 or Yakuza 0 or even Metal Gear Solid 5 at 45 frames per second, and it's not that much of a difference from 60. I really can't tell.
And if you're playing any of those games on PS4, you're getting what, 30?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
exactly.
you're getting 15 more than a PlayStation 4, which is substantial.
And just to end, it's another negative, but I'm hoping I can figure out a way around this. You know how Rockstar games, you have to go through the fucking Rockstar launcher? That pretty much makes everything impossible. To play like GTA, Red Dead, anything Rockstar related on the deck, because you have to go through the launcher. God. So if I go and say, okay, I'm taking it to work, right? But I want to play Grand Theft Auto 4 or anywhere, you know, so I go into offline mode and then I go, okay, I'm going to boot up GTA 4, but what does it do? It boots into the fucking Rockstar launcher and it wants to connect to the internet. And it's like, oh, okay, you have no internet connection, we can't boot the game up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, so I'll just play in offline mode. No big deal, right? No, GTA 4, and I'm pretty sure with Red Dead 2, you can't save unless it's connected to the internet. It will not save unless you are connected to the internet. So, I don't know how we fucking backpedaled into some fucking stupid bullshit like that.
Yeah, that's some real fuck shit.
But it's only with Rockstar games. Unfortunately, I'm gonna just have to play Rockstar games at home, which fucking completely defeats the whole purpose of having AAA gaming on the go.
Right.
But that's not a deck thing.
No.
That's a fucking Rockstar thing.
Yeah.
And that really sucks. But I'm sure that there's a way around it. You know, people that develop on Linux are fucking weird, if you haven't been able to tell.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
They just go nuts with being able to do shit that you can't do on Windows or you know, whatever. But now that I have the Wi-Fi thing figured out, we can actually fucking play around with this thing. I said Tetris. I'm gonna be playing a fucking ton of Yakuza because it looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
there.
it does.
And Monster Hunter. I downloaded Monster Hunter World. Not great. It was pretty FF7-ish, where it was like really blurry and just gross. And I was like, okay, you know, we can have that on the big beefy PC. And
That
then
game's on sale right now too, so I'm thinking about
do it, dude. I'll help you. I love World, dude. It's so much fun.
BioShock's looking pretty good.
Yeah, you have it running? Mm-hmm. Rise fucking sings on this machine. Oh, it looks so good. It looks
Right?
so good. And that's like half brightness too.
Oh, is it?
It goes
Is
way
that
brighter
original or is that like the remaster?
No.
That's the remaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I figured that it would probably be better. I have both. It
Both-
gave me
yeah,
both
so do
when I
I.
bought
Yeah.
when I bought it, but I just went with remastered. Download speeds could be a little faster, but other than that, I can't be too mad about like all these little inconveniences where I have to go in and fix shit because you kind of knew what you were getting. You know, like this is the very first wave.
Right.
Or not the first wave, but the first generation of these things.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense that like all these issues. And not only that, like you could also kind of make the argument that it's like it's just our internet. Our internet's fucking weird and it just wasn't set up properly, and everyone's like, just go into your settings and like split it again. Like if you don't have the option between the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi speed, like if you don't have the choice to choose between the two of them when you go to choose a site,
Yeah.
then you can like manually go in and split them. So it was like 2 or 3 hours of me sitting here just like trying to figure out how to fucking split my Wi-Fi signal, and I'm like, it's not even that. It's not even that. I just had to go in and fix shit. So it's a lot of that, and it sounds a lot like bitching, but my main issue is just the battery and like but that's something that I can sit there and just tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak
Yeah.
and tweak and get to the point where I feel satisfied with it. Yeah, just mostly indies, super older titles. Like I put Dead Space on there. I'm going to play Dead Space on there again. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm playing video games again.
Very nice. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that little bell icon. We want to beat the algorithm and get into as many nerdy ears as possible. Buy our merch. tpublic.com and search the Nerd Corporation. Get our specialty logos on everything that they have in their inventory. Follow us on Reddit, r/Nerd Corp podcast. Interact with us. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. Tell us we suck. Just talk to us.
But let's be honest, you love us.
You do. You really do. If you love us and want to support what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/Nerd Corp podcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. If you can't make a monthly contribution, consider supporting us on PayPal, paypal.me/Nerd Corp podcast. We want to have the best loot, give you the best giveaways, and give you the best nerdy experience, and that is the best way to do that. So, Annapurna Games, or Annapurna Interactive, presents Stray. I mean,
Made by B12 Games.
yep.
New studio. Very first game.
And fucking knocked it out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
This thing fucking oozes charm.
Yeah.
It's like I remember when we were talking about this game coming out a while back. I had mentioned that every game that I've played has been, I was going to say developed, but they're a publisher. Every game that's been published by Annapurna Interactive has been a fucking home run. There's this one I'm playing called The Artful Escape.
Mm-hmm.
They have a story-driven game called The Last Stop, where you play as 3 different characters with weird stuff happening to them. Like one character switches bodies with somebody else, and they all, I haven't finished it yet, but they all intersect in the story at some point. They all their stories come together. They're the ones that published 12 Minutes, that game with James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley.
Right.
And Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
What else did they do? What Remains of Edith Finch?
They've been in the game for a while.
They did Sayonara Wild Hearts, which is a amazing game. Like everything, there's not, to my knowledge, there's not a bad game that they've published.
Right. The first game I ever played by Annapurna was actually a game that, when I found out that I was anxiety prone, would calm me down, which was Flower.
Oh,
That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
I loved Flower, man.
Flower was one of those games where if I was just like having a rough day, I'd like toss it on and I would just be like, yeah, this is the one.
I miss that Sony. That made cool ass fucking choices like that. Cool decisions to make weird indie titles like that.
So the game follows a cat that is living in the world post-human. You start off as a cat with his cat buddies. You know, you play around with them.
Random cat pack.
Yeah. And you end up falling into this, for lack of a better word, trash chute.
My heart sank when that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I was like, no, he's been separated.
It was so funny when I was playing that first level or whatever. My cat Nuka, he got on my console and started like batting at the television.
Was that when you did the video?
Yeah. Yeah, and he would like bat at the TV and he would like meow whenever the other cats were meowing.
See, and I was playing it, and I had my cat Lynx. He was like laying on my bed next to me, and I was just kind of petting him. And because when you meow, it comes out of your controller speaker, and if you're playing on PS5 and on your TV speaker. So I had my controller and I kept meowing, and he was just like, I don't give a fuck. Like what do you care?
What are you even saying?
Yeah.
So what were your guys' initial reactions? Like when you first booted up the game and started playing the first little bit of it and all that, what was going through your heads?
Well, okay, so for me, I wasn't sure how to feel about it initially when, I liked it, right? But in terms of the story and everything, I wasn't sure how to feel about it until you get to the point where the robots all run away. You know, that one robot runs away, like he slams the alarm and scatters off.
Right.
And then you actually meet the robots and like, oh, sorry about that. We're just a little... But like, that was just another way in which, to me, like once you meet the robots and start doing the little tasks and everything, that was just another huge chunk of charm that it had, was just the interaction with the robots, how human they are, and just, it was just fucking dope.
Human without being human is how.
Exactly.
I really loved...
It's like they're becoming human. In
like,
Detroit.
I was just going to say it.
That place looks like Detroit. If we're
That's racist.
I can say that I'm racist.
one of the things that I found super charming and was just like, that is a very, very creative way to do it, is how they introduced how you were going to have the dialogue with these companions.
Yeah.
How they introduced B12, or as my son refers to him as vitamins.
Okay.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. But yeah, like I feel like that introduction to B12 and him being the translation between the companions and him, because you know what I mean, like it adds that extra barrier of like, oh shit, like without him he can't understand what the fuck they're saying.
And yeah, and you see that, not to jump forward, but you see how that plays out a little bit later,
Right.
When
In Ant Village,
when you know, are talking to a certain someone and you don't have the robot with you.
You're separated from B12,
Yeah.
and there's no communication.
Like there's not even like the robot language. It's just when they're talking to you, it's just noises.
yeah.
I
So-
mean, we're spoiling here, right? We're spoiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll get to it eventually.
I was trying to just say that without jumping the gun and be like,
Oh,
hey, remember this
there's-
part
oh,
at the
sure,
very
sure.
end of the game?
There's not too much to spoil.
No.
Like, most of the enjoyment, the satisfaction that you're going to get out of this game is by actually playing it, which is very rare. So,
Yeah.
kudos to you, B12. But the only issue that I have with this game is the weird consistency in logic. Because for some reason, this cat is the most anatomically correct cat that we've ever had in a video game, right?
Right.
And it is just a cat. It's just a cat.
Yeah.
It doesn't speak. It doesn't have superhuman, like it doesn't have super feline brains.
Right.
It can't understand what we're saying, but for some reason, it can understand B12. So I struggle sometimes to take the game seriously because these grand things are happening, and it's just a cat. It's just a cat. Like, there's a specific moment at the very end of the game which I laughed out loud because I thought it was so funny. I thought I was so funny.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's a cat, but he's making very logical human choices.
See, but why though? And isn't it more fun to think about this cat just doing cat things, but somehow saved the world? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of charming
Well,
when
I
you think
mean-
about that. Like,
Didn't save the world. Like,
well, I mean, like you're doing big things.
Well,
Like
yeah,
there's a moment at the end of the game where like something really big is happening. You're
Right.
watching something happen, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world was just hit the button one time and make it meow just once. Like, it's like this huge fucking event is happening and it's meow.
So let me pose this hypothetical.
Don't you dare.
Would it be too far out of the realm of possibility that because, you know, it's said that cats can understand human words and that B12 used to be human, he can understand him?
So, to my understanding, B12 is kind of like C3PO, and where he can like translate and speak any language.
Ah, okay.
Assuming that there is a cat language
Right.
that you can speak.
Yeah.
Which also, you know, makes it more understandable that he would be that the cat would be making the decisions that it's making because.
With
Yeah.
prompts from those around it.
Right.
it could be like how I thought when I was a kid, like watching the Homeward Bound movies. I didn't understand that they were just like emoting to each other and that's their language. I legitimately thought that they were like
Telepathically.
yeah, like I thought they were like mind talking to each other. So I mean that like could just be like, I don't know. I don't see how that would work. But
yeah, so speaking to Angela's point where it seems like maybe B12 does have like kind of like a Google auto translate for cats, right?
Right.
So I do think that there's something to that because one thing that I fucking love about this video game is that it has like a great amount of reverence for nature and like the preference, the
preservation.
Preference.
The like the idea of preservation in mind, where these robots are just doing everything that they possibly can to keep things from the old world going.
Well, and I love that it like poses the idea multiple times that they miss humans.
Yeah, well, it's also that's another thing is like the robots have done so much, has so much knowledge about humans that they like have learned to empathize. And not only that, but you're also seeing like these robots walk around acting like fucking humans.
Yeah,
like some of them are hunched over, like they've got a bad back. Some of them fucking limp. Some of them are wearing clothes and shivering because they're cold.
I was gonna say the one guy that you have to help, who's up in the software repair, he's like, "Oh, I'm so cold."
It almost kind of seems like, this is just how I saw it, is like it almost kind of seems like the robots want to be us. Like they really hold us to such a great reverence that they want to be.
And one thing that I sort of liked to think about was not that they are just trying to be human or want to be human in general, but that they are mimicking specific people's behaviors, like the person who owned them, or you know what I mean? Like the person who owned him had a bad back, and so that's what he's doing to, keep that person in their quote unquote heart or whatever.
I like to think that, and this goes back to our conversation during the hangout.
I wanted you to bring this up. Yes.
I like to think that these are all robots that have uploaded consciousness.
That's what I thought it was. I thought that it was all like the robots have uploaded their consciousness to like a web link, and with that, AI has learned from it, and that's where they gain like more
awareness.
People, I guess, like
right, and
like it's like a whole web of like these computer people that are just like we have human memories.
My theory was kind of along the same lines, but going more along with where towards the I want to say like the apex of the game, where things start picking up and falling into place. You eventually find out that BlueTwelve was a human. So I'm thinking maybe all of these robots at one point were.
Right.
Like,
which was
going
so
along the same
man, that was so heartbreaking.
Which I feel like they aren't mimicking those things. I feel like
they were
literally feeling
interesting.
Yeah.
Because remember how when we were talking during the hangout is that all of these feelings, cold, heat, love, hatred, all of that, they're all electrical signals sent to the brain.
Yeah.
So what's to say that when they uploaded this consciousness, that by this time technology is so advanced that those synapses are recreated in the AI. So they definitely feel
exactly, because I mean that's what I was thinking up until that's what I was thinking up until the BlueTwelve reveal, and then once they revealed that that he was the doctor that he was looking for, or the scientist rather,
right?
The scientist that he was looking for. I was like, okay, well, so who's to say that the scientist only did this with himself, and that maybe he he says that he's the last human. Like, what if he was then too? What if he uploaded everyone else's consciousness?
There's a lot we don't know.
And then did himself last. He was the last to go.
Interesting.
Because that
could be cool.
The world, it had become inhabitable, and so they were all like, we're gonna go extinct, so we might as well do this. And then they're all metal robots at this point, and then the Zerks.
Yeah.
The
Zerks
start being like, oh, well, we don't have food now. We're going to start eating the metal robots.
Well, because, didn't the Zerks... I feel like they came a little bit later because they came from that fungus, right? That was created?
I think the fungus is what wiped everyone out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
and then,
so it
and then
was
like...
becoming in uninhabitable, and
Yeah.
but like where all like bio, or carbon, items or
Carbon-based life
carbon-based
forms.
life forms.
they like, we're all gone under this underground world, I guess. And so that's when they needed to start
Right.
eating other things.
Zerk's a dumb name.
I feel like they're probably, like you said, Cole, they're probably the ones that wiped the humans out, and that's probably going along with the theory that I mentioned. That's probably why they're also attacking the robots, too, is because they're like, hey, these guys, feels like
You're
human.
still around?
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
I have a real weakness for this very niche art style that you see every once in a while. Bands do it a lot. Landon Tours did it a lot, and also Dance Gavin Dance does it a ton too, where they have like these humanoid animatronic, not only robots but like other things as well.
Right.
I'm such a sucker for that shit. Like humanoid robots that like speaking to what you were saying, Derek, there is so much fucking charm in the game where like you even come across like little lo-fi hangouts,
Right,
where it's like there's one specific spot where you're going through an apartment trying to find things.
It's like all
notes.
the neon and
Yeah, like lots of neons, and then obviously there's like a pretty obvious fucking lo-fi track playing in the background, and it's like there's like a nice every robot home is very well designed. Like it's very clearly excellent environmental storytelling where it's this is an actual place, like where these beings are here actually doing things, right? And it's 100% believable.
Yeah, I mean, even I loved the guitar player down at the
oh my god, that was one of the most charming things I thought. Like,
and then you can lay down next to him while he's playing.
That's where I got my trophy.
nice just listening to him play.
Yeah, well, I mean, he stops eventually, so I just kind of I turned off my auto off and I just laid there, and then I was like, I'm gonna go get some food. Just like, and then I turned on my went to my Netflix on my smart TV, and I was just watching shit, and then I came back and checked, and I was like, right as I switched back, it popped up, and I was like, all right.
Very nice. Very nice.
But going back to the consciousness thing really quick, I feel like it's just a more primitive version of the androids from Detroit Become Human, because those are like as close to humans as you're gonna get. They have feelings, they have emotions. They're locked behind a wall that they eventually break through to become self-aware, which I feel like these are just much more primitive versions of that. So they have everything that we have, I feel like.
Everything in this game is just so well done. Like every single detail was thought of. Every single pillow, every single lava lamp that you come across. Like any little thing that that the game wants to show you, it stands out.
I mean, I don't think I've found robots this endearing since Short Circuit.
Seriously. Yeah, or like batteries not included.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine was Astros.
Oh yeah.
So we can't forget to mention how well the cat is actually animated.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to say it's the most well, probably.
My only very, very small complaint is there isn't an animation designed specifically for going upstairs. Your cat just tilts and walks normally.
It's not perfect, but
that's a
he
very
doesn't stretch either.
That's a very small,
that's some bullshit.
He does though.
When you get up from sleeping.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean, like you can't initiate just a stretch.
Oh yeah,
and I think you should be able to.
One of the things that I also wanted that was like kind of like the scratching or the sleeping was maybe he found like a bug or something.
Yeah.
And he could, like, bat it around and eat it. You know what I mean? Because, cats still got to eat.
Like an idle animation?
Yeah, like where he's like...
Because they do give you the option to play with, like, random things.
Right, but, like, he doesn't eat throughout this entire
Yeah, there was
ordeal.
one time when you're in one of the apartments looking for the notebooks. And
you drink water.
You drink water, and it's like, well, I guess I'm good for the next 4 hours.
You did drink a little bit of water in the beginning.
True.
Don't forget about that.
But there's no like food that you can. But I guess that makes sense because none of these robots have like seen a cat, so.
Right, but like that's why I'm saying like maybe like a bug or a mouse or something.
But you do venture into like, I love how there's like a ramen shop for these robots,
Yeah.
Right,
like a burger joint. So it's like, maybe you could convince the guy to like drop a morsel of food for you.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool little immersion.
I don't know if I saw any bugs
Yeah, I
There
don't
in the
weren't.
game. So maybe they're just gone.
Yeah,
Maybe like organic life like that, but then again, why are there cats?
yeah.
I mean, like
So,
down in the
yeah.
slums, absolutely. But yeah, there should have been.
That
like,
makes
on the
sense.
surface.
If there was
But-
bugs, like
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an underground world where the cats were above ground, and so I would imagine that that's where they would get their food.
It does have a pretty unique platforming aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty sticky would
Yeah.
be the way that I would describe it.
Agreed.
You can't just jump on everything. There are very clearly marked places that you can jump up, right? And clearly marked places where you can't.
But
like
you also have to be super deliberate.
oh yeah,
like, if
I just
you-
thought it was funny that there was like a bunch of
Barbed wire.
yeah, like there was a bunch of air conditioners that you could jump on, but
Yeah.
then there was a couple of air conditioners that had like these giant,
Spikes.
absolutely ridiculously arbitrary fucking spikes on them
I feel like that's a pretty normal thing for. Is that not?
for robots.
Yeah.
We don't want robots climbing on these air conditioners.
Well, yeah.
Well, so they did say that though. When you're trying to sneak into the club, they're like, "Hey, we're probably just gonna have to sneak in the back."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to be very specific about which direction. Like if you're intending to jump up a level and your camera is just ever so slightly tilted down too much, you're going to be going a completely different direction.
Yeah.
So it's a little
When
iffy.
I was trying to jump, because the point towards the end of the game when you start the subway car, it took me a minute to figure out I had to put the battery in at the end of the hall, but when I was trying to jump down from the chair where the driver would normally sit, I would jump back up onto the seat like unintentionally,
Right.
and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to just leave this fucking subway car.
I had a few boo-boos with platforming.
Like, when you're playing Assassin's Creed and you accidentally just jump to your death and you're just like, what? Where did I tell you to do that?
You did?
I did have a few. I had a few boo-boos.
Never had that problem. The
Really?
only time I ever died was through Zerks.
So it wasn't necessarily that I died. I'm going more the route of performance.
Oh, gotcha.
So I randomly, it was the most fucking weird thing ever.
Did you play it on PlayStation?
I did it on PS5.
Okay.
I had this one random part where I was in a store and I was jumping down, but I was jumping into a box, and I don't think the game was properly programmed to do that because I basically had a JPEG of a cat move really fast into the box, but it was very clearly not animated. It was not moving. It was a really rough picture of the cat.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Wow.
What the fuck was that?
It's like when you get a peek into, like when he jumps into the cardboard boxes and you get a peek inside when you're moving around and the cat has zero movement. It's just like an idle.
I fucking loved that part where it was like you had to trick the robot to get into the store because the one wouldn't let you.
yeah.
Yeah, so you had to go find the robot. I thought he was dead But you had to like drop the crate of bottles on him, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go back to work."
He's like,
so he walks over,
drunk as shit, just like stumbling out.
I just love that because I saw the fucking box, and when it gave you the prompt to jump in the box, I'm like, I bet they're gonna do something with this. This isn't just sitting here just for fun. Like we're gonna do something, and they did it like a few times in the game, which was really cool.
And I also like that. In order to steal the workers thing, you had to like put the cassette tape in, and the guy like walks in covering his non-existent ears, like
because it's just noise. It's well, so you had to go and get it from like this hip hop group. Yeah. And it's just fucking. I love it.
One of my favorite parts was the nightclub, and it was hilarious to me because like I was trying to figure out where to go. I'm like, I know I have to go up, but I don't know how to get up. And I just talked to this guy because I'd already found the drink at the bar.
Right.
And I just talked to this guy. He's like, "Hey man, I found this lever. Like, give me a drink and I'll give it to you."
Yeah, the owner pissed me off, so I stole the lever.
I hate to call this a drawback because it's really not much of one, but one thing that I felt like would have been a simple thing to have would be just to be able to choose the look of your cat.
No,
A lot of people.
That's a lot of people's complaints, and there's actually a modder out there that he goes off of commission. Well, no, he goes. There's one that did that.
I did see that one,
but there's one that goes off of commission, and he'll mod it to look like your cat in the game.
Yeah, that was one thing that I had wished. I was like, I really wish that I was playing as one of my cats.
Yeah.
Or a female cat, because orange tabby cats are usually male.
So I don't know if it was Annapurna or B12 that addressed this, but they said that the reason why they didn't have customization was because that this is the story of this particular cat. It isn't like a customizable story that your cat can go through.
Well, that's the most arbitrary bullshit I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I like
they
that.
Just didn't want to add the customization option.
It could still be the story of that cat, whatever cat you chose to fucking be.
Your feelings are valid.
The cat doesn't have a name.
Yeah, fuck you.
Your feelings are valid. However, I do think
the real cat does have a name, though.
Well, yeah.
It's Murtaugh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Cat that it's based off of.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's an actual cat that it's based off of named Murtaugh.
I do. Your feelings are very valid. I do see that as a frustration. However, I see this also as an opportunity for a sequel to be something even more, where it's like, okay. Me personally, I'd like to go down the dog route, but if Stray 2 comes out and it's like, hey, you can create your own cat.
Yeah, because that just gives you even more of an emotional connection to the character you're playing.
Not only that,
I feel.
but
that one
also,
already looked like my cat. So.
Well, fuck you then.
Not only that, but the cat dies a lot in the game, so I can understand why they'd be like, we don't really want people modeling this after their cat if the cat's gonna die.
Speaking on if a sequel happens, there's a brief glimpse at the very, very end of the game that maybe hints at that.
No, I want them to return because I think that this universe is really cool.
Well, yeah, after you finally get out of the city and you just kind of walk off, the camera pans out, and then one of the computers like
flickers
on.
Mm. Yeah, it seems a little cliffhanger-y. Yeah, definitely.
I feel like if they do though, like it would focus a lot more on the nature side and being like,
But also, it could be like the robots exploring the outside world.
Right,
exactly. They follow.
I'd fucking love it if they put the same amount of love and detail that they did with cats, but they did that with dogs. I'd be fucking over the moon. I think that would be such a cool idea. Because the cat angle is such a cool fucking idea, and if you had that same team, B12, go in and say, okay, we're going to do the same thing, but just with dogs, and have them do the funny, quirky fucking things that dogs do that we all love.
Scratch their butt across the floor.
Chase your tail.
have insane diarrhea in the backyard. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Totally.
Ate the wrong flower.
Audible
Yeah.
farts.
So I went to go see my mom this morning, and the first thing that she told me was that her pit bull had eaten an entire bird and pooped it out.
Oh, no.
And it was like the entirety of the bird.
Oh,
Dang.
Has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but just
it's great.
great
In
image.
Stray 2, you could eat a bird and poop it out.
Yeah.
True.
What would you guys say was probably the most endearing parts of this game for you?
I lost it at the very end when B12 sacrificed himself, and then
Oh
you're
my
just
God.
sleeping next to him. I pushed triangle, and I was like, pick him up. Pick him up. Take him with you.
Don't you let this happen.
Yeah.
He was like, you were my very best friend, and like he
I just
laid
had
on.
I had
the
a
emotion.
never-ending story flashback. I was like,
Right.
Artax!
For real.
Fucking just laid on. They knew exactly what the fuck they were doing because literally I was like, oh,
Yeah.
After you turn on that first computer and he gets zapped, and I'm just like,
he's
Yeah,
gonna
you saw it
fucking-
a mile away. It's like, yeah, I'll be
I don't know,
okay.
man.
I'll
When
be
it-
okay.
As soon as they revealed who B12 was, I was like, this motherfucker ain't making it through this game.
Well, it's specifically the part when he says that like his whole family, he watched his whole family die.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so the guy's yearning for death.
Yeah.
Like, of course he's gonna fucking sacrifice himself.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, like, this is like another one of those little philosophical questions that I had because immediately when he said that he had transferred his consciousness to a robot body, I was like, oh, Eddie's just fucking rock hard right now.
I
like,
was fucking mahogany, bro. Redwood teak. Like,
So I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, what would be the purpose of being a robot in this world? Like, if you didn't want to decommish immediately, like, what would be the benefit of being alive in this world? And I was like, okay, doing what all the other robots are doing and just studying.
Well,
the
yeah, I mean,
world
as a
and how it was.
scientist, why wouldn't you want to do that? you know?
Exactly. Well, and not only that, but like it goes back to what I was saying about like just the overall reverence that they have for like for nature and for like the
Life.
the world, life. Yeah, life as it is, like, and all of its like when everyone kind of just recognizes that it's a cat, they just let it happen. They just
Yeah.
like at first, like what you were saying, Derek, you were saying, hey, you know, they're all running away from it because they do think it's a Zerg. They
Yeah.
think it's like a predator. But I love that, like, most of the robots, obviously, that, you know, it was very advantageous for them not to program the robots reacting to everything the cat did. But like I liked the individual robots that did have like a grand reaction to the cat. Like
Like when you're walking in front of one that's
I was
walking
gonna say,
and
I
you
just like
trip 'em.
tripping motherfuckers. Like,
I never tripped anybody. That's
didn't?
interesting.
yeah.
was fun.
So specifically the one that I'm talking about is when you tip the paint can over and it
Yeah.
falls down in front of the guy's shop and he's down like cleaning it up.
he's pissed.
And you have to walk through the paint like a few times, and every time you do, he's like, "Rrrr," you know, like
Yeah.
freaks out. And I love the little paw prints
Yeah.
of the paint behind. It's little things like that. My favorite thing though is is the meow button.
Yeah.
I love that the trophy is called a little chatty.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking smiled so big when I saw that trophy pop. I was like, yes, cat people. I love how the robots react to your meow. Most of them act out of love or like they're of admiration. You know, like I love their little their
Heart.
screens that are. I'm sure that there's a word for it, but they're
Emoticon.
emoticons. Yeah, they're very emotive. But
Like when you rub up against their ankle.
yeah, they go. "Rrrr." Yeah.
Love that.
And I love when you just meow right in front of one of them, and some of their faces are like, "Whoa!" Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? Like, big surprise. And some of them are like, "Aw," you know,
Yeah.
like just a heart or just a smile. And I really, really enjoy
That
what they
was-
did. They
that-
really humanized these fucking robots.
Mhm.
That was my favorite thing. That was the thing that I found the most endearing was their reactions with the robots and how the robots reacted to the cat. My favorite was you're in Midtown and there's a guy laying on a couch. and
You jump on him.
you jump on him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he looks at you, and when you lay down to like sleep on him, he's like, "Oh, this is great."
I didn't see any of this shit,
you know what?
man.
You know what I loved? Jumping on the chessboard.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
not the chessboard. It was some game board.
Mahjong.
Yeah, mahjong. Yeah, and fucking up their whole game. They're like, "Oh my god!"
How many times did you do it?
Like 5.
Yeah, okay. I did it twice, just for sure. I was like, don't forget about me, motherfucker.
I was watching I can't remember what video it was, but it was like I think it was a Top Keck video. It was like Twitch fails or whatever, and this guy was playing Stray, and he like jumped up on one of the keyboards and started walking around it. And he happened to type a bunch of letters and then FAG, and he was like, "Oh!" And he like,
Oh no! Oh no!
That's funny.
Oh no! That is fucking awesome. I didn't know.
Ruh-roh.
Damn.
No, this game was great. It made me cry a lot. Like when the cat fell, and then
The
again,
very beginning of the game.
and then again when you realize like how hurt it is and that it needs to rest.
"Oh yeah."
And when you fall in the city.
Yeah, it's just like all the more reason why I kind of understand their decision to just like make it a character instead of like a create your own cat type of deal.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm pretty sure that they were like, they saw the writing on the wall and they're like, people are going to make their own cats. And like, that really kind of stifles storytelling because that, to a certain extent, because it's like, well, we don't want to do anything that would like create a negative experience.
Yeah,
for the
I mean,
player.
but at the same time, plenty of people have an orange tabby. So
When you
what are you gonna do?
when you leave behind each one of the companions.
Convenience, I
Right.
guess.
When you when Clementine stays behind.
Oh my god, that one
Yeah.
was like, no.
Yep. And then when B12 dies. And in the end.
Who was it? What?
Part of me likes to think that Clementine's okay because after you opened it up, like the sentinels chasing her just died. So,
Yeah, I took it as she was fine.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm blanking on the dude's name. Like the initial dude you're helping.
Momo.
Momo, yeah, when he's like, "Tell him I was brave."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of really good writing in here. There's a lot of really good writing in here.
Probably besides the B12 dying, I think my favorite quote unquote endearing part is just the fact that it's like, yeah, you're playing as a cat, but you're a cat that's experiencing all of these like emotions like grief, and you're just like, oh yeah, cats can understand us, but like, do they feel all of this? And it's like, yeah, this cat is like sad as fuck because his like this person, quote unquote, has been helping him and now he's gone.
Well, not only that, but you go out of your way to save him
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Another thing that is a massive, massive positive for this game is that it's only $30. And not only that, you can also get it, off of the PlayStation membership
Yep.
perks as well. That's
Which is what I did.
That's how I think the majority of us did it.
That's what got me to upgrade to the premium.
Yeah, actually,
knowing
me too.
this game
Me
is
too.
coming out.
So $30 is a steal for the
Yeah.
quality on display. One thing also, the music is fucking awesome. It is so good. Like,
Stellar.
talk about just absolute personality. Like, it is so unlike, I'm sure it's like a lot of things, but it's unlike a lot of the shit that we see in video games.
Yeah,
right
I mean, it's not overdone. It's nice and stripped down, simple, pretty.
tense when it has
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
What an amazing, just serious. And then even in the club where you had the acid rock,
Right.
the techno hop, just the lo-fi everything. This game really, these developers per se is just really paid attention. This was a real labor of love. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a unique idea that held a lot of great ideas that a really talented team was able to pull this off. I'm sure with a great amount of funding from Sony.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that they got a ton of a big old paycheck to
There
get.
was not one person on that team that that wasn't carrying like massive balls.
Right.
I don't think that there's really anything that's like super negative about the game. Like, because once you start looking into like, okay, it is a $30 video game, and you see like the tone, the scope of what they're going for, you kind of just by nature just give it a little slack.
Yeah.
Not only because it's so fucking charming, but like you can just already tell what they're trying to go for, and they're nailing it like 95% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like the occasional JPEG cat jumping into a box. Like you can't really crucify the game over that,
You're not gonna get a like Last of Us caliber story either.
Cyberpunk could never.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's funny because like a lot of people have been saying like, oh, it's The Last of Us, but with cats. I don't think so, but like it still holds a lot of like that resonance of like why The Last of Us like works so well for people.
Right.
Like, it's amazing what a game can do if you just make the characters likable and fun to play as and believable. And it's crazy that this teeny little team got it right on their first fucking try.
Well,
and major AAA studios are struggling to find any semblance of unique.
It just proves that it doesn't have to be overcomplicated and ridiculous to be good and well done.
Exactly. Or like with an insane budget. Like an insanely talented team can go in and do wonders. I agree, totally.
So, in my first playthrough, I got nearly every trophy. I did need some assistance and some support from Cole with one of the trophies in where you do the first Zerk encounter without dying.
Without getting touched.
So before the sewer.
So it's the very first Zerk encounter.
So the sewer is the one where you can't kill any of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the first encounter, you cannot get touched. You can't get jumped on by...
You have to dodge every single one of them.
Got it on my fourth attempt.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So I did it for quite a few hours. My old lady arthritis kicked in a few times. I almost spiked my controller a few times. So Cole helped me out with that after a really long time. And then I have been trying to do the complete the game in under 2 hours. I've probably restarted the run at least 10 times at this point, and I can only watch that cat fall so many times.
That's unskippable too.
Yeah. All of the dialogue and cinematics counts against you, and you can't skip them.
That's a little fucked.
Yeah, the dialogue you can skip.
So you can quickly go through it, but you can't skip it.
Right.
So you have to like just be mashing the
square
and the circle over and over again. And I made it to the jail almost every time, and every time I got to the end of the jail, I only had 10 minutes every time. I somehow cannot cut down time, but apparently people are doing it with like 20 minutes to spare, and so
what in the world?
Yeah, so literally my only 2 trophies left are complete the game in under 2 hours and the platinum, and I have taken a 2-week break.
Right. See, and the only ones I have to do are the sleep for an hour and complete the game in 2 hours. So
I somehow missed the scratch in every chapter because I finished the game and I didn't get it.
Yeah, and so with that, if you die during that chapter, you have to restart the entire chapter.
Oh.
Yep. And most of them, the scratching, like there's only, I think there's like 3 or 4 chapters where there's only one scratch spot, and it's at the beginning of the chapter, and so you have to survive the whole chapter.
Ugh.
The scratch one was another one that I struggled with.
yeah, the only one that I know I'm gonna struggle with is that one, the 2-hour one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't really like it. Really didn't
sprint the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I did the Resident Evil 7 in under 3 hours one. I don't know how the
Jesus.
I mean, you basically just water it down. You put it on the easiest difficulty possible, but
Right.
it's still like it's not an easy game to finish in 3 fucking hours.
Final thoughts, ratings, 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best.
I actually hated it. I'm just kidding.
I give it 5 out of 5 toe beans.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yep, I agree. This actually is in the contender to be one of my top 3 games of the year.
Yeah, I would like to echo that. I would also give it 2 toe beans up. And if Elden Ring hadn't come out this year, I would say it's my game of the year, but it's definitely in the top 3.
You'll be seeing it in my list, for sure. 5 out of 5, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same.
Really, truly, that price is like the biggest thing. There's so much quality game here for not that much of a price. So
I agree. This if you haven't played it yet.
very satisfying platinum as well.
Yep.
I haven't gotten it yet, but I do plan on getting it.
Yeah. If you haven't, please go get this game. This game is such
Delight.
It's like
breath of fresh air.
It's like Cole said. I mean, we're spoiling key points of the game, but like you can't just listen to this and be like, "Oh, I don't need to play this game now."
No.
Like, no,
It's
you gotta
so
play
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, you like those are kind of meaningless unless you experience them yourself. So, like, even if you know about it, it's such a joy to go through and actually experience it.
Well, not only that, but like some of the biggest points of why this game is good is the environment and the music and like the robots and like how they like the lore behind everything. Like it's just a very, very well thought out game.
Agreed.
That really
So much love.
Yeah, so like a lot of love went into it. And it just goes to show that like we are not idea bankrupt in video games. Like we still have things that we can show to say like, hey, we're making new cool things over here.
Yeah,
It's
so-
not just Call of Duty and fucking you know what I mean, FIFA all the fucking time and fucking loot boxes. Like
Yeah, so treat yourself.
yeah, like that's another thing too. No microtransactions, no fucking store, no additional currency,
no
no
DLC,
fucking
right?
bullshit.
I mean, they might make it eventually, but right now it's like there's nothing, there's no add-ons that you have to get or anything.
Right.
Like that.
but if they made DLC, like they seem like a pretty well-to-do company that would charge like $10 for DLC for this game. You know what I
right.
mean? That would just add to the overall
Yeah.
value to the original product.
I want the special edition cat backpack that they also have put up for sale.
That is pretty
Aw.
cool.
This game will have a physical release soon.
It
too,
does.
won't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, you heard it here first.
Get me that fucking steelbook.
Go play Stray. Enjoy yourself. This concludes our episode. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at Nerdcorp Podcast.
Or you can shoot us an email at nerdcourtpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search the Nerd Corporation and look out for our green NC logo.
If you love us and want to support what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon. Patreon.com/NerdCourt Podcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. We'd love to thank our Nerd corporate backers, Glenn the Simp, Fillmore McLaurin, and Jake Hurst, and our Nerd financial investors, Kim Nichols and Dallin Gilbert.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dallin. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Fillmore.
Port. If you can't make a monthly contribution, consider supporting us on PayPal. PayPal.me/NerdCourt Podcast. We want to have the best loot, give you the best giveaways, and give you the best nerdy experience, and that is the best way to do that. So, from all of us here at the Nerd Corporation, we thank you, we love you, and keep it nerdy though.
Tough one.
Go fuck yourself.
Again.